Welcome, ancient soul. You're here because you remember that wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. This isn't strategy, this is frequency. You don't manifest wealth, you become the field that it has no choice but to find. This is your new journey, your new path, the portal to a life beyond your wildest dreams, where you activate your life force and step into a world that's so much more magnificent than what it seems. I'm Eva Kositsky, your host, energy worker, wealth oracle, and guide to lead you to overflow. Let's go deeper than you could ever possibly know.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Vibration of Wealth podcast. I am so excited today because this is our first ever podcast where we have two guests, and I have a very, very, very dear friend who I met in Bali a few years ago, Ray, who has now created Ray 2.0 because he has met his beautiful divine union, Ayca, who I'm so excited to go so deep with this today because, as you guys know, the word wealth is all about well-being. And I truly believe in my heart and my soul that divine union creates this whole new energy, this whole new essence, this whole new field where you can really start creating and receiving the overflow, the joy, the bliss. And recently, I have just seen these two beautiful souls start posting about their divine union, and it is rippling out into the quantum field like wildfire. There is a magic between the two of them, which you guys are going to be so blessed to feel today. But we're going to go so deep with all of it. We are going to have so much fun learning about how they met, the things they had to do before they met, the energy that they've noticed shift in their lives since meeting, and how it's really helped their wealth. And I mean, if you guys can see, if you're watching on the YouTube, both of their faces, I know they're sun, but they are just glowing. It's like that, oh. So, so thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor. I'm so excited for this episode. Let's start by we're not going to go all the way back to the start because we'd be here forever, as much as I'd love to chat for you guys for 10 hours. I'd love to just know a little bit about each of you, where you were before this divine union, and what sort of played out for you in the days, months, years leading up to meeting each other. And talk us through a little bit, like, if you were in relationships, if you were doing the inner work, what your energy was like. Were there periods of isolation? And yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'll jump right in. So it's so interesting because in hindsight, my previous relationship that I was in, I could see how it needed to be, how it really brought out any disorganized, anxious, avoidant attachment style that I had, simply because I was a child who never really received attention from both of his working parents. And I could really see how my previous relationship and how I was, the distortions that were perpetuating, needed to be expressed and released through that relationship, despite the chaos that was, in order for me to realize what peace and love truly meant for me, right? And the biggest theme in my previous relationship was the fact that I didn't understand or could even comprehend what unconditional love is or was. And that in and of itself was what was choking me towards finding or being in a relationship that truly, truly fulfills my soul. And I had to do the work. And when the relationship dissolved, the question that I asked, so the words that truly dissolved the relationship were this: because I was a pathological liar, because I didn't feel good enough about myself as a man, as a human. So I would craft this identity of who I was and what a man should be, and not honor the integrity and the words of who I am. And it was that the sentence that literally dissolved the relationship was this. She expressed to me, she said, your truth will set us both free.
Mm.
And that cracked my heart open to realize that I'm actually not fully choosing her, that I'm not fully choosing myself. And the dissolution of the relationship was what got me to question myself. What if I could live my life in full truth in every moment and every choice? How would life be different? And that is literally the hallmark and the principle and the pillar of how I've approached our connection from when we first met, that I was very unwavering in my truth. I was very much extremely what people perceived to be vulnerable. I had already met that within myself, right? So
Mm.
expressing the depth of vulnerability wasn't vulnerable to me. It was simply what is and what was. And that was the deepest inner work I needed to really move through myself in order to now be in such a beautiful union of co-creation with this gorgeous Gemini angel.
Oh my gosh, you're a Gemini as well?
Ah.
11th of June. When's your birthday?
Oh my God, 12.
We
12.
really
Yeah,
best breed, best breed.
yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love being Gemini.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but he can keep up with my fast mind. Jumping. I literally told him like I have this random bunny inside my brain, so it always keeps coming. So you have to keep it up.
Oh.
Neurodivergence.
Yeah, that's so nice to receive it from him because somebody holding space for me in this sense, so important for me. And from my end, did you
Yeah, yeah.
finish? Okay. From my end, actually, it was quite similar what we were calling in. I would say because I was in Dubai and just right after my flight from Japan, I decided to jump in Bali. And then in that time being, I was literally calling in, actually not divine union, but it was more about expansiveness in all the areas of my life. And
Mm.
without looking at my bank account, like I said, what would the best, not the best version, I don't like the best versions, but what would the most abundant version of me choose right now? And I said, okay, I want to do surf, I want to do this, and I want to book here, I want to go here. And then I just basically made my mind in it, and it rippled out everything basically in my life. But before that, let's say 2 months ago, before we met, I had a breakup. And it was actually very important for me because I was in Dubai alone. Basically, I didn't know anyone. And that relationship of mine was from Qatar. So he was the person that was making me feel grounded as well. And, someone familiar. So it was like a whole shedding from all the past, all the familiarities, all the fear that I was going through. And yeah, when I faced myself in my fears, this magic just happens. You don't need to do the most I don't know, aligned, not so you don't have to take that big step, if it makes sense. Like even one intentional action, it just ripples out in your life. That's how I received.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love this so much. So I always feel like there's such a big detox phase. And I don't need to use the word big, but I feel like when there's beautiful things coming into your life, you need to make space for them. And there's this clearing, this shedding. And I'm curious for the logical, overthinkers like us Geminis, was it subconsciously? Did you write a list for each other? Did you, or did you have an idea of the divine counterpart that you desired? Like, was there something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had it actually. Even like I just try to remember, but since maybe my teenage years, I never had anything like a type. But I always felt this feelings, like these energies, and I was all about that. And when I visualized that expansiveness, spaciousness, that grounded energy,
Mm.
yeah, there he was.
Yeah, for me, it was a very interesting journey because I needed to really integrate what love meant for me. after the previous after the breakup. And it really got me because I never really allowed myself to be in love with myself or be in love with the world. So it was a journey of reclaiming that. And when I began to reclaim that, it was so interesting because just before her, I was seriously dating like this mother of three. And in that experience, I was reclaiming the father within me,
Mm.
by what it felt like to actually want and start a family. And I felt as though I was ready for that. And I began to really zone into the woman the queen that I get to receive, and really allowing myself to feel into that intensity of the vision, into the energetic frequency of who she is. And I allowed myself to go, I want it all. I want the physical beauty, I want the internal beauty, I want all of it, right? And it was so synchronistic because a couple of days before we met in at a festival up in Ubud, Bali, I was up in the mountains doing a full self retreat to really set an intention for the next year, right? It was like December, like mid-December. And every year I set an intention. So in 2023, I set an intention for 2024. And the intention was to eliminate all scarcity from my life in every moment, every choice, because it would create the biggest domino effect. And then for 2024, these two words just kept coming in. These two words just kept coming in. And at first I was so resistant. I was like, am I ready for this? Is this something? Because when I choose it, I have to really choose it. I'm not sure, I need to put myself out there. And the two words were this: divine union.
Oh,
All areas of my life, not simply intimate relationships, but business partnerships, friendships, family, all of it. And 2 to 3 days later, we met.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh
And it
my
was
God.
the same day, by the way. There is this one sneak peek. So it was the same day. We just figured out maybe after like
Yeah, on the same Wednesday.
our third month, we figured out that it was the same day. I chose to basically book my flight to Bali with these intentions, and he was actually in the mountains
Receiving.
and receiving, and yeah, making these intentions of divine union.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, very magical.
Wow, wow. So at the festival when you met, talk me through like that moment, that energy, like what was it a normal day for both of you? I feel like we're replaying like a serendipity movie here. It's
It's a
like
bit like
the
that.
energy because I find this so fascinating. Like this just it sets my soul on fire. It's like the moment that the stars align and it was always existing in the quantum field. It was always in your soul contract that you two would meet, but it's that beautiful synchronistic moment where it's like everything in the universe just goes click, 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 and it's I don't know, it gives me goosebumps. It's so beautiful. So I'd love to hear like how that day started for you guys, how it unfolded, what yeah, it locked into place because there was a million gazillion opportunities where you didn't have to meet on that day.
Oh, like, yeah, 100%. Like, it was so interesting because I was not meant to be there. I had a project that was supposed to be happening in Nusa Penida that
Yeah.
fell through. That's why I shifted my retreat earlier. And then it turns out that an event that I was hosting, most of the people there are living in Ubud. So I decided to go to Ubud instead. If not, I will not go up to the event from Canggu. So it was a whole thing. It was the same with her.
And it was coming from Uluwatu, which is like 2.5 hours something with a rainy day. And it's so interesting because I was with an Australian guy before. And literally we met in an ecstatic dance and it just happened. Like I ended up going to the festival with him. He invited me. But it was, I believe, just like a bridge for me to just, go over my fear of biking in, rain, under the rain, 2.5 hours. It's crazy. And I had all the friends, like they were inviting me for a barbecue night. And I said, you know what? I want more expensive, as I said. So I don't want to stay in familiarity. I want to go. And yeah, that's what I did.
Wow. And so the second you met, did you know straight away?
No, so the beauty of the synchronicities and the serendipities and the expansiveness of it came after we actually solidified the foundations of union. So in the process, when I met her, it wasn't like crazy fireworks or passion or all of that. It was this beautiful just stillness and presence in that moment of like deep inner knowingness without the need to rush anything, without the need to chase. Like, because I was honoring like, and in the start of a connection, especially when she's flying back to Dubai, there was no like attachment of, it is what it is. It's as long as it's in flow, it gets to be. So it was also the surrender aspect. So when we first met, of course, throughout the event, I kind of I saw her in my peripheral. But I'm not a home wrecker, and she was with this Australian man. So it's kind of like, but then she connected with a very beautiful friend of mine, Venus. I'm not sure if you met her, but essentially, like, she connected with Venus, and I was chatting with Venus towards the end of the event. So she was literally the last new person I connected with at the event. And before that, I was just enjoying myself at the event. It was such a potent night. I signed a client from that night. I was connecting with like multiple women that night. I was just allowing myself to just be. And she was the final new connection that night. And when I met with her, I was just holding that space of like, this woman is gorgeous, is beautiful, we had this beautiful conversation. But there wasn't like this attachment, this what people call, whatever that energetic karmic, like it wasn't that. It was grounded. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because that's healthy versus the toxic, the
Yeah.
codependent, the like when all the when something I personally found in life that when they say fools rush in, but when something is intense and really hard and fast, it's a lot of the wounding. And it doesn't mean that the union doesn't progress quickly, but a grounded foundation changes everything. So I love that. That's such a beautiful yeah,
Yeah.
and so how
One
long? And so what about you, my love?
Yeah, it's one of the beautiful, like most beautiful traits of him. I also told him this after we met, like sovereignty. His sovereignty and his groundedness actually what made me navigate it towards him because I felt that his eyes were so inviting, but it's like that familiar knowing as if, hey, you're so welcome here, that safety and that feeling seen even without doing anything. I felt so much in peace because as a Gemini, I mean, I have always been someone more in the outside as well, but it's not necessarily reflecting my inner world because I believe I value more of that, silence and also that if you're comfortable with someone even without doing anything, that means there is something for you, and that's how I felt. And yeah, I was like, I was so tired of performing, showing, or being received as just like physically beautiful, but not really seeing me through. And therefore, I felt so much seen, but truly internally. And sovereignty, one of the key in here, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah,
Like,
key aspects. And if he wouldn't have had this much grounded sovereignty, actually, our relationship wouldn't have this much basically growth because it took him a while to process his emotions
yeah.
when I was also going through my ex, like basically finishing up everything, and he was in Dubai. And if he wouldn't found himself in that groundedness, then he would be so much captured by his fears and not really holding space for me, and maybe it would make everything even finish before it started.
Exactly, because like, yeah, we spent New Year's in Dubai, and then I flew back to Singapore because I had a cousin's wedding. So I didn't plan to go back to Dubai after that. I was just surrendering to that process, and my intuition just went, go back to Dubai. Like, that's where your heart is. Like, what are you doing here in Singapore, trying to force a path that you don't want to actually be in? So I flew back to Dubai, and it coincided with a meeting she has set up with her ex because he was in town. And it turns out, in hindsight, it turns out to be a very beautiful closure for her. But when you are flying to a different country, right? And the only reason why you're going to a different country is because of this woman, and now she's like with this ex. And I was there in the apartment, alone in Dubai. And she was like catching up with her ex. And she was not responding to my text because like they were in this deep conversation. And the emotions that come up on the human level, the inner child that still feels abandoned, the inner child, like that was my wound. it still needs to be processed. And a huge aspect for me to really allow myself to continually embody that grounded sovereignty is to allow my human to express, to allow my inner child to be. And in the apartment, I was just allowing those emotions to flow. I wanted to scream, I'll scream. I wanted to cry, I'll cry. Like whatever that allows the emotions to be released. And once those emotions were released for me, I came back to self and I went, I'm here in Dubai. Even if she we're not going to be dating anymore, I'm just going to enjoy the fuck out of myself in Dubai by myself, and I'll leave whenever I want to. And it caught back my power. And then that night we went out on another date, and then I stayed in Dubai for the next 6 months.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. That's like and I'm loving this conversation so much because for anyone that's ever seen Ray and I chat in the past or knows Ray and his work, like you're a very, very successful businessman. Like you've spoken on stages of thousands of people. Like you do it, and this raw vulnerability is why you're so good because your foundation doesn't have holes in it because you go to where you need to go. And I think and the reason that I've always loved being friends with you and seeing your journey and witnessing you is because you're so real, you're so raw, you have no fear of like, we need more men like you and we need more unions like what you two are bringing to the world. And I think that's why this is so important. And I'm loving this conversation because it's real. And we always have these masks on where it's like,
Yeah.
like, and we met and it was perfect. And then
Yeah.
it's been so good since. And it's like you're still growing because you're doing the work together.
Exactly.
You're doing the work together. You're leaning in, and life wasn't meant to be this perfect cake. It was meant to be like, and the funny thing is, the illusion of divine union because we'll have the conditioned reality, right? We get a happily ever after and it's all cupcakes and rainbows. But the truth is, they're going to crack you open in ways that you've never been cracked
100%.
open before. And this is what creates more wealth consciousness
Right.
because we're expanding our energetic field.
Exactly. And it is that amplifier effect, people always like some of the men I've had conversations with, like we run a brotherhood here in Bali, 650 men and stuff. Some of the conversations that we have with men sometimes is like a wife or a partner will hold you back. Like a partner will like take you away from your purpose, will distract you away from what I've come to realize is when you actually have a solid woman by your side, it amplifies everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's exponential, right? It's not linear, right? And that's the power of partnership. You take a look at Alex Hormozy, Leila Hormozy, how they co-create, how they are in union, right? Because the thing is this, and most people always forget this, especially in the spiritual space, is that love is unconditional, but relationships are not.
Mm.
Relationships are not. It is based upon a set of sacred agreements, and those sacred agreements require vulnerability. And if we don't have that vulnerability, how can we create agreements that are sacred? Because those
Mm.
agreements will always be distorted, and that's why they can never be upheld, right? And that was one of the key intentions that I feel, even like when we have conflicts, right? When we experience dissonance with each other, the choice has always been to come back to love, to come back to
Mm.
love, to share what is going on with us. And we always use the language of, I am feeling this way and not you make me feel this way.
Yes.
It's
That's so
like
important.
sovereignty, right? And that's the power behind partnership and union. It's not divine union is not what people attach the ideal of divinity is. It's all perfect. Divinity is not perfect. Divinity is both sides of the same life coin. The imperfection and the perfection is all of it.
And it's also important for us as women to hold space for also
Yeah,
men. And when you talk about legacy, I believe also some of the distorted feminine, that's why there is distorted masculine, right?
yeah,
There is
Mhm.
all the time this like neediness and like sucking the blood of some,
yeah,
the other person. It's kind of, that's why it contributes. Not only men are just that way. Of course, we both sides are contributing each other's distortions, right?
exactly.
And therefore it's so important, like you said, that supportive partner. And I feel it with you that it really inspires me to be more sober in my energy, as I'm so attuned and so empathy, like empath, I would say I need more sovereignty in my life, and he really mirrored me this one. And yeah, I'm so glad for it. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm, I love it. I'm just getting off on your energy together. I'm like, yes, like more couples like you two. This world needs more divine union, more people that are co-creating beautiful things together and amplifying that, because you're creating such a potent resonance between the two of you, a potent biofield that's we're recreating what relationships need to be in this world. I don't feel like we have too many role models that are really doing the work together
Yeah.
and going through it together and being open and honest about what it actually takes to build and be honest and be raw. How have you both felt since working together? Like, have you felt that it's been harder vulnerably? Have you felt that it's been easy? Like, talk us through the energy shifts, and how have you felt that you've evolved by just meeting each other and being in proximity with each other?
Yeah. For me personally, because I needed to meet myself in the depths of my vulnerability, um, in this relationship, it definitely has been relatively easier on my human to do that. Whereas in the past, in my previous relationships, my shadow is I need complete control.
Mm,
Right? I need complete control. If I don't have complete control, because this is the thing. After my breakup, I went through a very powerful subconscious reprogramming session with a facilitator that I fully trust. And before she works with any client, she does a calibration, an energetic calibration to determine if you're of the light or of the shadow before she decides to work with you. And she was going through, my entire timeline. And she went to the day I was born. And the day I was born, and your mother, which is the external representation of unconditional love in various capacities, what my mom was feeling on the day I was born was unworthiness.
mm,
So what I took on as a belief system was if I choose unconditional love, if I choose to embody that, then I am unworthy. Right?
mm.
So in my previous relationships, I've sought control because I never felt worthy for love. I never felt worthy that, wow, this woman is loving me. How is this possible? Like I'm not good enough for this. And because I felt that way, I had this attachment that I needed to control that person so that it never runs away from me. Right?
Yeah.
So that was my distortion, right? And in our relationship, I'm meeting that in every moment and every choice because it never goes away. But it is the depth and the understanding that you have that, and yet you can choose love is what strengthens the sovereignty, is what strengthens the love. Because she's aware of my control mechanisms laying out on the table, right? I'm aware of my control mechanisms, right? So the deepest thing that one can do for each other is to allow that shadow to be and be very raw and vulnerable with all of that. And just sharing in every moment. Sometimes when you go through life, there will be mirrors that reflect to you, oh, you actually get to share this with that person now. And you either choose to or you don't. And every single time you don't, it amplifies the karmic universal law of compensation. And something somewhere down the line, you get hit even deeper. That's what I've come to realize. So that's my experience with that. Yeah.
Mhm. What was the question?
How have you like evolved since you've met each other? How do you feel like your energy has changed, shifted? What experiences have you
Right,
had?
amazing. Because when he talks, he just like gets in, right?
Energetic just
I was like, what was the question? That's going, yeah, it's amazing. So from my end, I would say like one thing is coming true right now is um I've never experienced that somebody is holding space for my inner child without shaming or judging and basically making her feel safe. And that was the moment where I felt, wow, like my inner child has a space here to be just just be
Mm,
just be her. And then I literally did this, like my inner child is here, there is there are so many things that is, making me feel, making me do, and still it's here, it's all of us. And I was in this phase of my life, like differentiating which is my woman, which is my inner child. And I was like in between space. Even in that conflict of mine, I felt like I can open up myself to Ray, and he literally held that space and not made it about me as if my inner child desires or like fears and everything. It's something outside of me. Like I can hold space as a woman. Like it is within me, but also not all of me, right? So I felt so much release when he took after my inner child in that beautiful, space. And yeah, that was really very precious, and I've never experienced before. Rather than that, being so open, being so like putting my heart on the table and knowing that he will really understand it, even though I am processing my own feelings, he just lets me you know process and then come back to myself. Like this space is so special. Sometimes I don't really need him to do anything, just give me that space. And yeah, that's very important, this space and holding my inner child, holding space for my inner child, I feel.
Mm. I love that so much. And the thing that I can notice being here is that you're so in your feminine, like his masculine holds your feminine so beautifully. And you have this really soft energy, and I can tell that it softens even more around him. Like I can just feel that essence. And it's so beautiful because you both done the inner work before you met each other. You both went to all of the places within you, and the work never stops. Like, let's be honest, it's not like you meet your love of your life, your divine counterpart, and oh, okay, there's no more work to do. Like, it's every
Yes.
single day, all the time. So I'm curious, what really got you to start creating this whole new venture together, this whole new space? Because yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so in alignment. You're both um, such vibrant, sovereign beings that have huge missions. And I feel like your souls were like, okay, cool, you're ready for this mission. Now let's meet, let's get to work, let's change the
Yeah.
planet. Was it natural, or were you just having coffee one night and you were like, oh, like, let's do this together? Or we're having these conversations behind closed doors. Why don't we share it with the world?
Yeah,
Oh, a
100%.
little bit like that,
Little
actually.
bit like that. I always ask him questions as well, and I feel my inner child is like, yeah, this and that. Like always brings up this type of, questions, and mostly about deep things. And I felt like I think it was in Bokashi in Bali that we were having this dinner. We were actually thinking about podcast, and then it inspired us to, have a Instagram
Yeah.
account and YouTube channel, but it was more about, hey, Word needs to listen this.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm asking, he just answers, and I am like enlightened.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from should, it's not coming from has to be or have to be. Like it's always what he mentions is this gets to be. Whatever he tells me is like it gets to be, but you don't have to do or you don't have to be anything else
Yeah.
rather than,
Yeah.
and then I was like, yeah, this is beautiful to share with everyone. Like everything that you say, it always enlightens me.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because, like, actually, in hindsight, the seed started when we first met because I was
Right.
sharing my projects in the education space, and that
Mm-hmm.
lit her soul up, and I could feel that because I'm so attuned intuitively after I cracked open my heart. Like,
Mm,
I allowed myself to embody how sensitive I am as a person. In the past, men shouldn't be sensitive. Like, what the fuck? You're a man. You don't be sensitive. You're hardcore, right? So I was like, it's so interesting because I was sharing this in the shower. It's in our travel vlog in Phuket. And we're just having this conversation, and I was sharing with her how for so long I've tried to fully embody the king archetype as my dominant archetype.
mm,
Whereas my most inflow archetype is the magician. And the magician is feminine. It requires such deep feminine attunement for the magic in the world to ripple, right? So I've literally like shut off that aspect of myself because it is not what it should be as a man, right?
mm,
So that really allowed me to tune into energetic frequencies. And coming back to that, the seed really started when I shared that with her, and her soul lit up on fire. And I could see that, I could feel that. And then when we were in Dubai, we just had this desire for freedom because she was working for Emirates. And the flight schedule, it's crazy in Emirates. We're doing like 50-50 long distance, right? So we began to really co-create this freedom plan, right? And it did require her to feel safe in my leadership to fully leave her full-time job. And throughout the process, we would like, yeah, she was just asking me questions, and then we end up just filming a couple of like random selfie style videos
It
of,
was like stories.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, just conversations, and then the little
And
seed.
people actually like the chemistry and
Yes.
energy between each other. It's very, international
Yeah,
motivation.
very multicolored.
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah. So we're receiving little feedback from like people in our circle whenever we post on stories, like so and so forth. So, and then we came to Bali, and then we were just like allowing ourselves to be, and then the conversation about Kashi, and then we're like, let's create something. Let's just start sharing something.
Play for it because we are really enjoying the process of doing that. So that's the only point. That's the whole point. And if people really feels resonance, then yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was our intention.
Like there was because it came up in my feed and there was one video and you were like, I just love her pussy. And I've read the book. I've read the book Pussy. Like I think it's so important and I understand why we use that word. But it triggered me and I was like, I must have some ancient shit still stuck in me that's like, because I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, go Ray. Like this is what we need. And then but half my body was like, oh gosh, like all the collective, I could feel the collective unconscious in me being like, oh, we can't do that. And I was just like, more of this. Like, this is what we need, like real men, real women. I'm just such a big advocate for it. And I think that we have a lot of it in the business space. Yes, we've got Layla and Alex, and hustle harder, do more.
Yeah, there's a whole
But
different
it's different because I don't believe in hustle. I think you can push it to a spiritual hustle. The inner work is a hustle. You never stop doing the inner work. It's day in, it's day out. You need to cry, you cry. You need to speak your truth, you speak your truth because you don't want to get a sore throat. Like it's a constant journey. But I think you two together have something really magical. And I just think what's being co-created here is it's so beautiful. It's so needed. I get this vision of like, we have the quantum field and it's like you're pushing the envelope. Like it's like the edges are here and you're just like, and it's like going deeper and deeper. And I'm like, like the fact that you're saying that your dominant archetype is feminine, but I really see you in the masculine. I think you've done so much work. I even remember when I met you, I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and you were telling me how you're like, if I go on a date with a woman, I tell them I'm going to pay because I don't want them to worry about the bill. And like, it was just all these interesting things where I was like, man, this guy's got his shit together. Like he's fully in the masculine. And I was like trying to understand masculine men because I'd just come out of a divorce. And so being friends with Ray was so therapeutic because I was like, fascinating. And he'd talk about all his encounters and he's like, I'm going salsa dancing. I'm like, fascinating. Like, it's just all these interesting things, but you really do embody the masculine archetype, like the way that you hold yourself, the way that you are so assured in your energy. And yeah, I really want to honor you for that and for being so vulnerable and speaking. And I'm really excited. Like now it feels like you guys are just in the like go with the flow phase, but do you have some big dreams or ideas for this, or you're still in the early co-creation?
So before we move on to that point, just to shed light on that masculine energetic signature, only when I reclaimed my inner feminine did I begin to be received as masculine, truly masculine. That is the key. The only reason why women feel safe with me is because I've begun to honor the woman inside me. How would the woman inside me want to be treated, want to be received, want to be given? And therefore, I create that in my masculine signature. And that's why women feel me as masculine, but because I'm taking care of the woman inside me. That
So
is the
beautiful.
difference.
And that was perfect. I was like, oh my gosh, Eva, you're still single because you haven't claimed that man inside of you. But so I was masculine for so many years. I'm finally, soft into the feminine, but that is gold, and that's the essence. And yeah, so beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
Vision.
Vision.
Mhm.
The vision, I don't know, giving like TEDx, I'm not gonna do
That's
it.
cool, like a
Oh,
union TEDx talk. Like us vibing on stage. That would be a vibe.
That would be interesting.
That would be such a vibe.
But like I just mentioned, actually, I just love because when I put myself pressure as well, it doesn't really work well. But of course, as a vision, it would be something that, like you mentioned, people can just see how the in between space is possible. We don't necessarily have to be so much on the outside, or we don't necessarily have to be keeping everything within us as well. So there is this in between space. I believe that spirituality and materialism, like hand to hand, we can have desires, visions, and we can co-create them together, but not being so attached to them. So I feel I have so much vision in the material world as well, but I appreciate a lot. I appreciate everything, even like our, I don't know how many subscribers, let's say
Oh,
39.
yeah.
How many?
Currently we've got 9 subscribers on our YouTube channel, 28 followers on Instagram.
So cute. Yeah. I mean, like, you see, like, even one person literally, like, giving us that energy back is very precious.
Yeah.
I would say I really, really tune into the quality over quantity right now. But yeah, that would be nice to receive. People are really receiving us more and more. And yeah, and more podcasts, maybe more, you know,
Yeah, I mean, the vision is always like the
ways.
message to reach to every single individual on the planet. And if we can even transform one like relationship in terms of how people view relationship, maybe even transform a man or a woman to reconnect back to themselves and then call it the
Mm.
divine union they're looking for. That is in of itself is impact. And the vision, we can always go beyond, 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 in all of the capacities. Like I have no limits,
And actually,
whatever.
therefore, it will ripple out because divine union meaning like divine, beautiful connection. Therefore, there is this new generation will be coming from us, our end. Like it will be also sovereign and beautiful individuals. So it's also important for relationship to,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
land.
Having said that, like any collaborators, sponsors who are hearts connected and about shifting the narrative of masculinity and femininity, we're all for that. We're all for collaborations, amplification of brands. We're also bringing various like modalities that we have learned into the education system, because my company is all about education initiatives. So yeah, that's like the focus. Yeah.
Yeah,
And in the process, just have so much fun.
Yes, I love that. It's like Rome wasn't built in a day. And I think the coolest thing about life I found, like I had a massive Instagram account. I had like over 20,000 followers and it got hacked on a retreat last year.
Uh,
And I was at the retreat and all my students were like, oh no, it's gone. And I was like I just didn't care. I was like, it's gone. And I think I probably only have like 200 and something now. And it's the most beautiful thing in the world because I
Mhm.
love doing what I'm doing and I don't focus on it anymore. It's like
yeah,
the vibration ripples out, and we're so conditioned that we have to always get more followers and more people. And it's like a room full of 10 people can change the world.
Oh
A
man.
really like one person wakes up and it wakes up the entire universe, and it will grow. It will grow exponentially because I just don't see anything like what you guys have right now. Like it feels like you've just birthed a brand new frequency that this earth has never seen.
Mhm.
And I'm getting goosebumps because that's like everything I do is energy work. Like it's all the energetics. All I care about is the energy. There's no ego. And the craziest thing is I have some of the best names in the world on my podcast, on this show, and they couldn't care less about the followers because they can feel my energy. And that's the same thing as you guys. They'll never look at the followers because your energy ripples out beyond, the masses, beyond the galaxies into different timelines and dimensions. And
yeah,
it
100%.
really feels like a king and queen being crowned. It's like that divine union of being crowned, and you're in your throne era.
And
It's
I
just
feel
rain.
when you shared that, I felt something when the need for that quantity is actually kind of coming from a fear, maybe, because we have forgotten that we are whole. Like even one person carries all wisdom with all the
Yeah.
humanity. That's how I feel. And therefore, when we search for all these numbers, it's just becoming so, I don't know, doesn't speak to my heart anymore. It was my teenage years. I was
Yeah,
really looking more
same.
quantity, but now I feel even one is,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's so beautiful. I love that. It's like you give everything to that one person, they pass on the torch, they change the world. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
literally.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So with all of that said, what like over the next year, do you have any I changed the word goals to the words like experiences or play or things I want to do, in this world. It's like, is there anything coming up? Is there any travel? Is there any interesting things in the works?
Yeah, we started our vlogs for, our YouTube channel currently. It is our first
So
vlog
fun.
will be, yeah, published. But let's say, yes, we have a plan because I'm from Istanbul and we have actually that will be nice to have a Istanbul vlog because he
Yes.
knows some
Yeah.
Turkish words and it's so fun. I want to make him talk Turkish more. It's so cute as well. It's gonna be fun. Istanbul and Izmir in Turkey again, then Dubai and Philippines, I
Oh
think.
yeah, we've got a massive events happening in the Philippines in the crypto space. So that's gonna be epic. We've got 20,000 members in the community.
Wow.
And we're gonna host like publicly launch a proper like tokenized economy there. So that's gonna be epic to have her with me. We're building a school here in Bali.
Oh my gosh, where?
Tabanan. So like I'll send you some details. Like if you want to get involved, like feel free to do so. So I'm
Yeah.
building a school here in Bali. So that's gonna be very exciting. And this school will serve as like a beta model because we've got land in India that we can also build our second school on. So this will serve as a beta model to take to India, just that we have no desire to live in India right now.
Yeah.
Like Bali feels really good to start something from the ground up and then take that proven model to India and then to South Africa and so on and so forth. So over the next year would be that, like building schools, like sharing our thoughts, our feedback, our journey on YouTube,
Mhm.
like traveling to Istanbul, our home country for the first time, and just yeah, just vibe it.
Oh, oh my gosh, so exciting. It's like the legacy movement, like you've already started been growing and working, and this is just,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it feels so good to be around kids. It's amazing ambience, and I had the opportunity to give them mindfulness meditation. They're so receptive, and I feel we get to teach this, like emotional intelligence is the core, like not maths, not geography, all of this. Like the next generation, they really need all these tools to be more human, to be in their soul. Yeah.
yeah. Yes, this mission is so insanely powerful. And yeah, I was actually talking to a woman about it this morning. So it's no, yeah, because the school system's set up for the Industrial Revolution. So we need
Yep.
to start getting it set up for the world that we're currently living in. So oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I'm just like I'm mind blown right now because I'm just like, yes, school's happening. And if there's any way that anyone listening can donate or anything like that,
Yeah.
send us those links and we'll pop them in the show notes.
100%. I'll send them through.
Mhm.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, it's been so beautiful speaking to you guys for the last hour. I could go on and on and on. And there's so many exciting things happening. And I just want to honor you both for doing the work to have even gotten to the frequency to have found each other. I think that in itself is such a beautiful testament to both of you, who you are, because I think sometimes looking from the outside in, it's like, oh, love is so easy and it looks so effortless, but there's a lot of inner work and it's lifetimes of work and
Yeah.
it requires us to look at our shadows and look at our things and face what was always here for us. And I feel like it feels, what's coming through. It's like the Lion King where they're like, Simba, it's like the divine union. It's like, and the world gets to have you now, finally. So thank you.
And not only that, right now, actually, this was our idea from today as well. We want to bring more, this darkest, deepest side, the juiciest parts and
Yes.
shadows. we don't really talk about it a lot because the other day we were in a dining table with others, his business partners, and it was like we brought this conversation up. Everybody really related, but we don't talk about it. Everybody started saying, "Yeah, this is in my mind as well. I see a beautiful woman. I think that is beautiful, and I feel guilty." La 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 la. And actually, our relationship is also based on this. Like I give my fantasies to him. Like he mentions his darkest, fantasies.
Deepest, darkest
Yeah,
desires.
and it's so
No shame.
important, not just like,
Yeah.
okay, good stuff, okay, but this is a fun and also very primal as well.
Yeah, because there are some aspects within you that you have this like mental model, mental image of, like you will never do it in real life, but it just needs to be expressed and be seen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And those are the shadows and the things that are very taboo, and people judge and be like, oh wow, you're this type of person, you're that type of
Yeah.
person. Like for example, right, like I have those thoughts sometimes when I see something so adorable that I just want to crack it and crack its neck. Something along those lines. But I will never do it in real life, but it's in my mind, right? But I don't reject that thought. You see? And the moment you express that, people have a certain perception, oh, this person must be this. Like, guys,
No.
like, we are all psychopaths to a certain degree, right? We simply choose a path that actually aligns with our
So
soul.
we get to match our freak. That's the most important
Match your
thing.
free.
That's why cheatings are happening because they guilt trip themselves. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I love that so much. It's just honesty. It's just raw. And I think like in my head, I was like, I haven't had one of those thoughts for a while, but I've been in isolation. But I have definitely having 3 kids. There's sometimes where I just want to like throw them up against a wall and be like, stop. I'm going to kill you if you scream one more time. So I get it. I get it. We won't label this episode the psychopath couple. We'll Oh my gosh. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you both for your precious, precious time. It's been such an honor to hear everything and what's unfolding. Where's the best place for everyone to come and check you out?
I'd say Instagram, Union Rewritten, as well as YouTube, Union Rewritten. And you can easily find our personal Instagram profiles there. Yeah, so send us quick message, follow us, have fun along the journey. Like some of our videos, like
a dot or something.
no, there's no dot.
No?
Completely like Union Rewritten. We got the full handle, guys. Union Rewritten, it's universal. When you get it on Instagram, it's universal. It's a sign.
Yeah.
And it's all in the show notes. Thank you so much, guys. Sending you so much love. Mwah.
Thank you for being here today. If you feel activated from this episode, please leave us a like, please hit the subscribe, and please share whereabouts in the world you're viewing this from or your biggest takeaway. It's such an honor to serve you today and remind you how powerful you truly are. If you'd like to go deeper and unlock your soul's medicine, and click on the link below. I love you. See you again soon.